of weeks ago, I had the misfortune of a face-to-face meeting with an Armenian Apostolic Church extremist named Armen Keteyian. This imposter passes himself off as a chief investigative correspondent for CBS News, but in reality, he is not an investigative journalist at all. He only prints what he is told to print by those whom he considers to be his friends or supreme authority figures. In his quote investigation, he attempted to ask a fellow subcontractor and myself some questions pertaining to SIST. We both clearly informed him that we were not part of SIST organization, but we were subcontractors of SIST who would be willing to sit down with him on a case-by-case basis and disprove every single one of these allegations against SIST, including this alleged list of implied threats with documented facts. We also informed him that it was something we could not do at the time, though, because it would take a lot of time and we had other things to do. While Armen was in Shawano, he never made a single attempt to contact Naomi Isaacson, the CEO of SIST, who seems to be the main target of these sadistic, elusive Lorna Marquardt cult members posing as city officials. Wouldn't a real investigative reporter who is covering a story as important as this one and involving so many innocent people's lives want to talk to the CEO who is the target of this scandal? How would a couple of subcontractors who do not have much knowledge of the details involved regarding this malicious, hateful attack by the city have the kind of answers that a real investigative reporter would need to put a real investigative report into perspective for the public to see? Just to prove how false this alleged hit list is, and how unafraid these city officials really are, immediately after leaving the scene of our street-side encounter, we continued on our journey to the City Hall to get a building permit for another project we were working on in Shawano. We met Shawano Building Inspector Mike Miller in the parking lot, and he escorted us into the office right through the side door that is located just outside his office. The building was still on lockdown that day, and the public was still being forced to endure the discomfort of entering through the police department through the metal detectors and body searches. Mike didn't make us go through that, though. Without us even asking him, he let us in through the side door and met us on our business for the day, and we left, all in a peaceful and professional manner. Imagine my surprise when later on in the day, I looked at the photograph of this alleged hit list on my camera and saw Mike's name as number 41 on the list. Mike Miller was obviously either unaware that his name was on this alleged list of implied threats, or knew it was all a hoax but was not a participant in the scheme. When I watched Armen's false report, I noted a number of elusive ways with which he hid the truth of this alleged list of implied threats. The first issue he brought up was that Lorna was fearful for her life. How can this deceitful cult leader be fearful for her life and scared of SIST when she drives right past SIST headquarters almost every day completely unguarded, on her way to the casino to spend Shawano taxpayers' money which she allegedly embezzles from her subjects, the innocent Shawano citizens? Then Armen reported her saying that she now has weapons in her home. Has her husband ever gone hunting before? What exactly does she consider a weapon? If he went hunting before and owns guns, then did she not already have weapons in her home? Where was the investigative news in that report? For Armen's information, most Americans do own weapons of some sort. It is a right granted to us as American citizens in the Constitution. Remember, Armen? This is America, not Armenia. Or does Lazar High School in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, where you went to school, not teach you that kind of basic information that is essential to living as a United States citizen? Then Armen questioned Bob Cameron, the alleged hitman from Canada. Bob said that he was hired by SIST to kill 60 people, and this hit list, this list of alleged victims, was faxed to him. Does this so-called list shown on national television look like a copy of a fax to you? It has no header, no page number, no date, no fax number, nothing at all. Did Armen question him about the lack of this authenticating information? Or was Armen trying to twist the story to make the public believe something other than the truth? I understand that in Detroit, Michigan, where Armen grew up, they may have been behind in some areas of technology, but nowadays they have ways to trace phone calls and faxes electronically. Did it ever occur to Armen that he might be presenting a hoax put on by the sadistic, elusive, religious Christian Lorna Marquardt cult members as the truth when it is so obviously a lie? Thirdly, Bob Cameron showed copies of a number of wire transfers with $175,000 worth of international wire transfers. Surely a contract exists showing what this money was to be used for. Did it occur to Armen to ask for a copy of a contract or any other document demonstrating the purpose of this $175,000? Surely somebody would have a document somewhere that could be provided to him for investigative purposes. Did it occur to Armen that maybe he should attempt to contact Naomi Isaacson to hear what she has to say and possibly get a copy of the real information pertinent to his, quote, investigative report? Bob also claimed that somebody from SIST could get him guns. Throughout the history, SIST has never resorted to any form of violence. Look at the public records, Armen. Ask the Shawano County Sheriff Department about when SIST headquarters were fired upon by bullets. About when SIST headquarters property was bombed. About daily and nightly harassment from passersby. Ask the Shawano Police Department about the bullets fired into SIST downtown store Spirit of the Northwoods. About reports of vandalism to SIST-owned buildings in Shawano. Ask what was the cost of repairs for these damages. Ask for all of the reports and see if there has ever been a violent retaliation by SIST for these malicious activities perpetrated by these sadistic, elusive Lorna Marquardt cult members. You will see through historical facts that they are all public record and that there has never been a violent response from SIST. Once you see these reports, a serious investigator would normally have some pretty serious questions to ask. Looking at the history of SIST and all the violence perpetrated against SIST personnel and property by these sadistic, elusive, religious Christian Lorna Marquardt cult member masters of deceit, any real investigator would know that the whole hit list scandal is nothing but a scam put on by these malicious and brutal Lorna Marquardt cult members to annihilate and exterminate SIST and SIST's innocent personnel. Since this peace-loving group of people has never resorted to violence in the past, what would be their reason to do so now? And where would they have the ability or the knowledge even to get weapons to do something like what they are currently being accused of? Another topic for discussion, Cameron claims he was owed money from SIST affiliated business USA International Raceway. If so, he would have filed a federal claim against SIST to get the money, if it was truly owed to him, as Bob Cameron is Canadian and USA International Raceway is an American corporation. Did Armen ask Cameron for a copy of this claim? Did he ask him what happened in the court proceedings regarding this issue? If Cameron refused to give up this information, Armen could always go to the federal level and ask for copies. Did he do that? He could have also attempted to contact Naomi Isaacson, SIST's CEO, for this information. Did he do that? Could it be that Armen is intentionally hiding the atrocious crimes of this sadistic, elusive, religious Christian Lorna Marquardt cult leader and her ultra-Orthodox terrorist followers?